Good evening, Free Enterprise. Welcome to this Saturday edition of a Free Enterprise race. Here we have the second Enterprise Legacy race, and alongside me is Kairu,
Yep.
and as my co-commentary, and Asuka 424, and Zarabora as the restreamer and tracker. How are you doing today, Kairu?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. And about to enjoy a pretty decent race. What about you?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looks like so this is a ever-evolving flag set. Last week was very similar to Highway to the Zuma Zone 2, where pretty much was just forage for the crystal and get going. But between Zoe's machinations as the game master and the winner of last week's race choosing various things for us to do, we do have a little bit of a change up. We now have 5 objectives to complete, so this is a little more reminiscent of Fabul Gauntlet. And we also do have the S Pro flag on, which is a change. So no longer be able to find sirens in shops. We're going to have to pick them up out of treasure chests, or maybe do some stealing if we want to find sirens for an easy grind.
Mm-hmm. And it seems like we have an Eddie start tonight with a interesting palette. I enjoy it. This, as Antondale said, this is an ever-evolving flag set. It's based off legacy games like Betrayal Legacy and Pandemic Legacy, where as you play the game permanently changes. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, and there is a little bit of a story element too. So here is the little bit of text that Zoe has written out for our runners. You returned to the Fame March, feeling accomplished yet disoriented. You didn't expect things to be so out of place. As a saving grace, it seems that some pieces of the iteration were where they were meant to be. For some reason, that leaves you craving ice cream. Entering the throne room, you recount your tale to Leviathan. He seems puzzled but not surprised. I'm glad you see you've made it back safely. However, it appears your next destination has already been decided upon. Expect more chaos from here on out.
And I would also just like to point out that both of our runners have specific name sets tonight. We have, with Rexroll, we have Star Trek Voyager characters. I do love me a good doctor. And we have over on Infinius' side, we have Magic the Gathering Planeswalker characters. And that's a new one for me.
Yeah, I love all the naming everyone does. So this should be a lot of fun. And also, as part of there are 2 meta objectives that happen with the Enterprise Legacy, where Zoe has set up that each race there's a new one added, or it seems so far that there'll be a new one added each race. And if old ones don't get completed, they'll stay on the board. And those meta objectives will allow some other changes to the flag set as well. But you have to be one of the first 3 people to accomplish or to finish the seed and complete one of the meta objectives for it to actually trigger. So the ones still in play are Fading Antlion and completing and leaving the Sealed Cave without using a warp. And to be a little more definitional of Fade Antlion, that means you can go into Antlion, you can even peek who the boss is, but as soon as you see what the key item is, you can't consider fading even if you reset. You would have completed the check at that point.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be... Finding Sid, I think, is going to be our big one this time, unless it's a Sid start. Otherwise, it's going to be a character hunt trying to find that Sid.
Yeah, we know one place to go, but then finding bosses is always a little bit tricky, and then also characters, because you can be the giant, which is a little awkward to get to sometimes, or if the hook is buried somewhere, or the package no one really wants to do. Getting those characters can be a little bit awkward at times, and it looks like we're just about ready to go. The timer has started, our runners have gone, and we'll see what we get handed.
So I believe that is a Kane start with Pinktail and either Rubicante or Elements at the Odin spot.
Yeah, and that starter kit was pretty good too. I think I saw a siren in there somewhere, but we got a good kit to go forth. We've got one person who can do some melee damage. We'll probably do a little bit of looting, but since we are on T standard, we don't need to go to like the Lunar Pass or anything. We can just go to a little more dense locations. With that Pinktail, might want to prioritize just going straight to Damsian to launch the hovercraft, even though we can't pick it up quite yet.
And always check Baron as soon as you. That's one of my first plays, especially with the item sets that we have on right now.
Well, and with finding a character too, getting that information about, hey, is Sid here in the Baron Inn? No, he's not, but we have Iridia and we've got some vanilla Baron guards.
That's nice. So a decent black white mage and what could be a relatively easy fight.
Of course, I think Rydia had just left her tiara before she went to go have tea with those guards because it was sitting there in the inn. We got a nice sorcerer robe too.
Yep, you were right about Infinius. He's going straight to Damcyan. He's gonna loot that out and launch his hovercraft.
Yeah, since the treasure isn't weighted any differently for the location, all the treasure here in the bottom in the basement is just so dense. It's so easy to pick up all of it. Heron robe is real nice.
Yeah.
Wow, we are
in a crystal shield. That was a decent Damcyan treasury right there.
Yeah, we get a little bit of an upgrade for Kayn. If we find one of the ladies to wear that Heron robe, then they'll be absolutely rocking as a melee person. It does tank their magic stats, but you're not so worried about it with a massive boost to strength and dexterity that you get off of that Heron robe, especially in the overworld.
And Rexroll finds the Nope Rope and Mist Cave.
Yes, we have replaced one watery kind of dragon thing with an entirely different one, and we're gonna never come back there again.
That's good to keep it out of the pool at least.
Yes, and then Rex goes to check the other pool and finds an evil wall, another very happy boss to be left just sitting where we found him.
They're pretty much on the same route as of right now, so hopefully we can see some divergence here soon. Yeah. Hobbs is a good play. I could see that.
Yeah, it should be beatable with the items Infinius has picked up. Giving Kayn that poison axe and some jumps, he'll be fine. You do get that character check as well as a boss check too, since we have to hunt for both.
Just gotta find that D Knight.
Yeah, Dark Knight and the Gauntlet too. So we have two bosses that we're hunting for.
And that's the Magus sisters, I believe.
That sure is. Yeah, I'm not sure I bother with this fight. Yang isn't quite interesting enough to me as a character early, and there's enough HP here. I guess the magic isn't going to be too bad, but it's a little awkward. Looks like he's trying to set up a Blizzard cast or a Blizzard toss with that Yang there. Rex also takes a deep, long look at that Yang and decides to go ahead and go for this fight.
Oof. That was a big hit. Let's see if this Blizzard does it. I got rid of Cindy. That helps a lot.
It does, but then Sandy does charm Kayn, so we got to get Kayn under control here pretty soon. Although this Boreas might just clean it out. Assuming Kayn does not stop betraying the party long enough.
And they clear the fight pretty much simultaneously. That was well done by both runners.
Yeah, both of them making good use of the J items to get up there. There's a lightsaber. That'll be nice if we pick up a Cecil.
I'm team always Cecil, so I understand getting a nice lightsaber is a good thing.
Yeah, vanilla agility is not turned on in this flag set, so if you're used to watching from the Higher to the Three Zone, Cecil, not all the agility will revolve around him. It'll just revolve around the middle character, or at least who's ever in the highest priority spot, which is usually the middle person.
So Infinius is they're both heading to Fabul. Let's see how this works out for both runners.
Yeah, both runners keeping the meta objectives in mind, deciding that Antline's not even worth stepping into. And while it looks like Rex is just a few seconds behind, he does have that extra bit of knowledge for Ogopogo being in Mist Cave. And Yang is attacking, trying to get home.
And we find Young's twin.
I mean, one of them's an imposter, so we're going to have to vote somebody out.
I've noticed that Rextroll's cane is rolling a little bit higher on those jumps.
Yeah, being in the middle gives you actually an accuracy boost in Final Fantasy IV, and for Enterprise does carry that over. So not only do you get to be the person that all the agility revolves around, but you are more accurate. And if you do have that poison axe, which I'm not sure we saw Phineas actually equip it, but if you do, you're a little more accurate with it, so you're more likely to hit a couple of the rolls, because each damage calculation does have a number of hits that kind of get calculated underneath behind the scenes. And so as you get more accurate and have higher levels, you'll hit more often. And the
Just
poison axe,
an apple from the Fabul defense.
yeah, I mean, the king's sick in bed, so you'd think he'd actually want to probably eat that apple and keep his doctors away, but I guess he does not care.
Nope, not at all.
Earthhammer's not a bad pickup if we do find a Sid sometime soon. Not especially great later, but it is one of Sid's better weapons. It does have that nice little machine racial damage as well as fire damage.
And the ability to cast Quake off it is always a great option.
Yeah, definitely really useful early. Yeah, if we find an All Gauntlet maybe in that second spot, if we happen to have Sid, then it'd be really nice. But it does only do a couple 100 points of damage, so it kind of gets overshadowed by the time we get underground.
Rex finds some poison claws in the armory and weapon shop, and Fabul as well. Put both on his Yang.
Yeah, pick up that extra strength. Every 8 strength you get does add another multiplier too. Those multipliers that we're talking about, giving you extra damage rolls. So that Yang, even though he mostly gets his damage just straight up through levels rather than equipment, those poison claws will help him a little bit.
And the item shop does appear to have both Cure 2s and life potions. This is the place to be if you want to stock up before grind.
Yep, definitely want to pick up those life potions. Cure 2s, depending on what we got in the starter kit, sometimes I don't bother with because you don't often need them terribly long, but it is useful to pick up a few extra. But those life potions definitely buy 20 to 30 anytime you see them the first time in a shop.
Yeah, Rex is looking for a shop check, it looks like.
Yeah, I might still have Star Veils on the mind to pick up a few extra of those. Could also be looking for some other weaponry, possibly.
Well, there's an assassin dagger.
Level speed your cane up. Also has a nice swoon proc available to it if you do hit the enemy at just the right time. And there are those Star Veils.
Exactly. You called that, Antidale. That was good.
I mean, it's definitely on my shopping list anytime I play a Zeta for Enterprise. Gotta make sure you pick up a few extra Star Veils just in case.
Just in case of bad wyvern, yes. And Rexwell's heading back to Baron, probably going to go after that inn and get that radio. Let's hope that second fight's not too bad for Rex.
Yeah, depending on what it is, it could be very, very difficult, or it could be pretty easy.
And Infinius is heading up Mount Ordeals. Finds a nice drain sword as well.
Yeah, both these checks, of course, with getting mind towards getting underground, because we do have to have some way underground here in the overworld, but also continuing to look for extra bosses, because we do have 2 bosses to fight, and both of these have multiple bosses during the check.
And that's an Ashura.
Yeah, this is not super fun. This is one of the reasons why you do want Star Veils, because you do want to be able to double wall yourself. So Asura does pick up the wall status and can't heal herself, but there's an awful lot of HP here.
This is gonna be a slog.
Yeah,
get through this fight.
It's a really slow spot. There's a lot of HP. It hits pretty hard. So we're going to see Asura doing probably 400 damage or so. Oh, 500. Yep. Eddie's got to come out and
That's a
save us.
reset on Rex.
Yeah, Asura is just something you don't want to quite tackle right away unless you get some mage killing gear. Like if we found a rune axe somewhere, that'd be great. Even a mutant knife on Kayn would do some real wonders.
We find an antlion on top of Ordeals in the first spot.
This is one of the places where antlion is just absolutely the most harmless. There's so little attack power here, and with this party too, both Kayn and Yang having alternate ways of dealing physical damage rather than just the fight command.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't see that counter at all from antlion. And Phineas had managed to keep Edward dead, I think intentionally, through the first couple of fights, but seems to want him alive this one with the hiding.
There goes antlion. We find Baigen in the second spot on our deals.
Yeah, another boss that's not terribly fun in the spot that we find him in, especially this early and with a party. This is one where those cure potions that Rex picked up would actually be pretty darn useful. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Infinius maybe want to get down one of the arms and not the other, just to kind of limit the amount of attacks that are coming in. Meanwhile, Rex has people in the back row that are actually intended to do damage. He might be... I don't know if his Star Veil ran out, and that was an Asura heal of herself to actually heal damage. That would be really unfortunate for him.
Infinius has one arm down, so I think you're right. There goes the main body, so if just to avoid that explode on that last arm, that might be good.
Yeah, even if it explodes, it only explodes over one character, so someone's going to make it out alive.
And Infinius is through. And boop.
So we can get our key item check there up on Ordeals. Meanwhile, Rex is still continuing through this Asura fight. I don't know if he picked up enough Star Veils. Oh, he did pick up enough to get him going back again. It's just gonna keep going through. It's just this fight takes such a long time.
And that's an X-Cal at top of Ordeals. That makes finding a Cecil pretty decent, especially after finishing Ordeals.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want that. And having, hopefully, soon pried it out of Mylon's hands, when Mylon Z comes calling for it back, if we do have it Cecil, it's going to be really nice.
And there's underground access at Baron Inn with Rydia after that Ashura went down.
Yeah, that magma key gets you straight underground. Just drop it down the well. That Rex will be doing very shortly. Be a little
with
bit
a
curious.
Quick Mylon fight, and Phineas is through Ordeals as well.
Yeah, and he'll probably have a much easier time with that Asura, I would imagine. Just having picked up a few more levels. and he's been anchoring. He might have a little bit of a different agility situation. Eddie's gotten some experience, but maybe not quite as much, and definitely Kane and Yang have a little bit more for Infinius. So we might be able to kind of set up the fight a little bit differently. That Asura fight's actually one where you want her as fast as possible for herself, rather than slow. It's a little bit strange for overworld routing, where normally you want to have your faster character in the middle, like Rex has been doing, because Keen is pretty speedy. But because we're reliant on Star Veils to keep her from healing herself, we're looking for we want that Star Veil to last as long as possible. So if she's able to get turns constantly, then the Star Veil kind of doesn't fall off.
And with the underground being open, as Infinius is also heading towards Baron Inn, checking freebies at the Fey March, and probably checking Yang to start the Sheila 1 check start.
Yeah, and I could see even a quick check into Dwarf Castle, both for a cursed ring, because that's a very nice piece of gear, and also just to know who the first boss is. It's a little bit of piece of information when you have boss hunts that can be pretty valuable.
Are we going to get a job door check?
Rex, as the person who had, I think, been the first one to suggest it, absolutely is going to check that job dwarf immediately. Then he very patiently waits for that speeding dwarf to come up the side aisle there. Finds Illusions in the Cabins. It's a pretty nice shop. A little expensive for what he's got right now.
And gonna go ahead and back row glitch Rydia in the party, or just make her a beat stick.
Yeah, I think just get her going. The Heron robe is real nice for her, and with the samurai arrows and the elven bow, she'll do some really good work. It's a little unfortunate you didn't have her for that Asura fight, because that Rydia would absolutely clean it up.
Mm-hmm. And as chat is saying, the job dwarf was a publications editor.
It's Lava Farming Weekly.
Lava Farming Weekly.
Yeah, as you noticed before too, and I'm pretty sure that just the damage differences that we've seen between the two Canes, we saw Rex doing 1,000 or so per jump, and Infinius is just doing about 200. I think Infinius just never equipped that Poison Axe. Or maybe never even found it.
It's quite possible, or sold it. And we find the Darkness Crystal in the frame arch chest.
Yeah, so I hope you like open seeds, because now you have one. Feel free to go anywhere. Infinius deciding to kind of back away from that Asura for a second, gonna do a little bit extra checking.
And it's going to find that Nope Rope in Mist Cave.
Yep, there's no Vanilla D Mist here to bail you out. There could be one of Mega Sisters, maybe.
Double Lunar Sparkle at the Fey March bosses.
Yeah, the moon has invaded.
So that's 3 of the 4 checks, isn't it? 3 of the 4 lunar bosses are on Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't really want to do any of the ones that could possibly still be there. Plague would be doable, but would be obnoxious and very too long. And neither of the other ones, I don't really want to do Pale Dim quite yet. And I don't really want to do, hey, there's a Curse Ring. Wouldn't want to do the Lunar Frogs either.
and Rex is on his way out. Gonna finish up doing some looting. Then
Yeah, picked up. That ice
That
claw
was-
is not too bad for if we ever get find that rubricant, whether or not he was the person who did indeed hand us the pink tail right away, or if that was elements.
and heading to Sylph Cave to go not bonk Yang. It
Sort of
looks
being
like, yeah.
Yeah, sort of being a little bit kinder this time, though. Eddie doing 800 and not getting a return shot. Eddie doing 1,000 there. So Edward's going to do the bulk of the work in this fight for Infineous, it looks like. Yeah, Sarah down. Nicely done. Good change of strats, too. You could see that he wasn't attacking with Kane or Yang since they were actually causing more hits to go onto Eddie, and since Eddie was doing some pretty solid damage, it was a good adjustment.
And Rex is heading to the Dwarf Castle shops, it looks like.
Yep, find some vampires. There's some treasure right here too along the shop route, so it's always nice to do. That Juggernaut helm we picked up was good, and a curse strength for free.
Oh, there's a blizzard spear there. Looks
Yeah,
like
not
it's
a bad weapon for Kane.
Looks like it's gonna loot the top of the castle before checking Baron itself, or the dwarf itself. There's a nice Gaia robe.
Yep, Rex fighting the inventory boss, gonna have to go in and sell pretty soon. He might, head straight down to that armor shop, I bet. Do a little bit of selling.
Gonna get about half the money back on that cursed ring he bought.
Yeah, a little bit of a feels bad to have spent money on one and then have one handed to you, but at least you know you had it.
Exactly.
So where do you want your Fabul Gauntlet to be, Kairu?
Top a tower. Or super cannon. Make them fight. Get it locked behind that tower key. And finding that tower key being evil.
Yeah, so you want a nice chain to that tower key for it to be in the super cannon. That sounds good. Zaru in chat saying that he wants to double up he's our tracker, saying he'd like to have it both be at the White Spear altar, so you check one and get double your pleasure, double your fun.
Yep. Rex heading back to check Sheila 1 while Infineous is heading into about to find his darkness crystal. Just apples from Fabul today.
Yeah, do they have like an orchard that is overabundant out back or something? Like,
It
my
sounds
goodness.
like it.
Of course, Sheila being the head cook or whatever of Fabul, since she's the one with the only cooking implements in the entire game, does have the gold apple, so she was saving the best for herself. Yeah, this being
Rex blazing the whale. Here we go.
Yep, exactly. This being a C standard, both Fusoya and Edge are gated behind key item checks, so they weren't available so far in any of our overall checks, but we could see one of them here up on the moon. It would definitely not be sad to see Fusoya. Haven't seen a whole lot of good stuff for Edge, although Edge can steal some sirens from the alert treasure boxes in Lower Babel, so it would be nice to have.
And the gated shop
Oh,
on
is
the
it
moon
too
could
relaxed?
have
No, go ahead.
and the gated shop on the moon could have some decent items, maybe some Ether 2s for a grind,
Yeah, absolutely.
because I haven't seen them yet.
But without a Fu or a Tello, we're not really worried about a grind involving ethers quite yet. We'll need to find one of those gentlemen in order to kind of get that started.
Which we could quite possibly have a vanilla Fu spot up here.
We could also have a nice lunar engineer complete one of our objectives. Who knows?
Who knows? Nope, just Ashura at the moon shop.
Yeah, and since we found one of those already in a treasure box, we're probably not too interested in buying that. But it does mean Rydia does have our... Rydia could be a nice healer with Asura being very available so far. And thank you, Hidden Element, to gifting those 5 gift subs to the community. That is very, very generous of you.
Thank you. And we find it one of the twins on the moon.
Yeah, good old Palom. Probably going to be very interested in getting him to Quake as soon as possible. If we do indeed have a siren in that starter kit, that'll be pretty easy to handle.
I did see the siren in the starter kit. So, what's that? One good egg in the underground?
One egg doesn't quite get him there, but it gets you probably close enough that you don't worry about it too much. It will get him to Virus. If we had a 5th character and he was in slingshot range, he would get to Quake off of 1 egg.
And already having some somewhat decent gear for that Quack Kid.
Yeah, Chain Rod getting, I think, +5 to the Black Magic stat, and the Sorcerer will be the best in class for him as well. So pretty well stacked for him. That'll be nice.
I always enjoyed that little fat chocobo that's in the well.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot of use in Free Enterprise. People are usually... The whale comes too late in a seed for you to really want to store stuff, or it's just a little bit hard to actually make use of them.
Mm-hmm. So he just gets to sit there and be adorable.
Just wants to bring you happiness.
And yep, gonna do a quick egg grind, it looks like.
Yeah, I know I saw at least one of the runners pick up a coffin somewhere, which would make it very easy. If not, we'll... Rydia... Nope, no one has stopped quite yet.
Yeah, there was that coffin. Is Rydia in slingshot range for that egg?
Oh yeah, Rydia will get slingshot. It won't do a whole lot for her. She won't get anything terribly useful out of this. The levels will be nice, but it won't actually get her to like Virus for herself.
And that Palom getting all the way up to Quake.
Oh, it does get Quake. Oh yeah, he is in slingshot range because we've fought a lot of things. So Eddie was at least level 15.
So we have a Quack Kid online on Lex's side. And
Dwarf
looks
Castle.
like Phineas is heading up to the moon, and we'll find his own Quack Kid.
Yes, I'm sure he will also be very happy to get that kid on his team. I think it would have been very cheeky for either runner to maybe have dipped down straight to the White Spear altar. Um, I don't think anyone would do it. It's a little bit too long of a walk to really be interested in. But we do still have at least one free boss that the runners could take just sitting there. They're sitting in the pool and could be at that spot.
And with pass required, getting Moon done early, if you can get Moon done early, that's a pretty decent strategy, to be honest. There's that last Lunar Sparkle in Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, they are all accounted for. I don't think anyone's going to finish the moon with this particular team and this item set that we've got so far. But it would be a nice, fun, cheeky play if someone wanted to just get some information.
And it's D-Lunars at Dwarf Castle.
Rex combing through that inventory to give Viridius something to do. And then decides just to pass turn, because Paladin's going to do most of the work here. Rex doing a good job also remembering to switch out one of those Poison Claws back for a Fire Claw before using the Power Command, because he will get some extra damage out of that.
And Infinius is also doing the egg grind real quick with that quick coffin.
Yeah, now his Edward does not have the same experience, so I'm not sure if he is at 15 or not. I don't know his HP totals and what level they indicate, as well as I do other characters. But no, that's only 12 levels on that Paladin, so he will be a little bit short.
Yeah, he did not get his Quake off in that one.
That is one of the subtle, interesting things that can happen sometimes. Ooh, hey, it's a turtle.
And an edgy boy. Yep, replacing. No?
Rex doing some thinking.
Removing Edge. They're removing Edward for the Edge. Which can, I believe, has the ability to back row glitch that Edge mid-battle, it looks like.
Yeah, if he's got a boomerang or a full moon, he could just stick it in the right hand there. Technically, if he only has one weapon equipped, then either hand is fine. But if Edge does have two weapons equipped, you do have to stick it in the right hand, which would be the correct hand for him.
Yeah, that Quake doing some nice damage to that Kanazo.
Yeah, there's only about 3,000 HP here, and Quake probably could have one-shot him with the gear that Rex has on that Paladin. This will be a little bit of a trickier Dwarf Castle for Infinius, as he did not get Quake on Paladin. You just see how much of a difference those couple levels make.
Mm-hmm.
And just letting your Edward actually pick up experience, which is something a lot of runners don't do. He's a very good target to be an agility anchor, because he doesn't offer a lot of full seed value. He has some really awesome applications, but is not good through 90% of the fights he mostly exists. He excels at some stuff that he does better than anyone else at, but
that's a Sand Ruby on Luca's necklace today.
Yeah, we haven't checked Kaipo yet, so that could be our Cid, that could be Fusuya, it could be a Cecil to finally use Excalibur, at least that Infinius picked up.
I do believe the Excal was the reward for ordeals. And yeah, I don't think Rex has done ordeals yet.
Nope, he hasn't had any particular reason to, other than just wanting to check for some bosses. That's a Cecil, though. That might be reason enough.
Thinking about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of considering. I'm sure Rex is thinking about who he would get rid of for that Cecil. Um, does not know the great reward that is sitting on top of our deals for him.
Well, gonna get rid of the Yang, it looks like. And I assume Rex is gonna go straight for Ordeals to try and get that Cecil online.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, Fanny's taking a reset to those D-Lunars. It's just a rough spot to be in. Um, could have stopped them from doing any. Kind of can stop them in their script in two ways. You can either do the Lunar Frog strategy, which is just wait for them to breath after you put Star Veils up on everybody, and reflect their breath back at them, and that does turn them into helpless little froggies. Or when you get down to one, if you actually punch the one who's left, the way their script operates, it kind of freezes that one because he's waiting then for the other. Uh, he'll be waiting for the other D-learner to act in order to start doing things. So he'll just kind of not do anything on his own. So it's a neat little trick you could do when you're down 2-1 and need time to kind of breathe. You could just pop one real quick in the nose, and then it'll just kind of sit there if it's the last one.
This has been so good for me being a casual runner that I'm just learning and talking about a lot of these strats, and it helps.
Yeah, the more you watch and the more you talk about them, like I know that's one that I saw Couch do on his stream at one point, like I don't know, 6 months ago. I know it's known longer than that, but I hadn't really seen it applied, especially as a way to kind of pause the script, give yourself time to regroup, get people back up and heal. So it's definitely a nice little piece of knowledge that doesn't always come into play, but is pretty useful when it does.
And with Edge now has twin daggers on, having an assassin and a dancing dagger on, doing some halfway decent damage with that.
Yeah, they're both minor upgrades on the short swords. The assassin dagger, especially, just giving you extra speed, and dancing dagger, both of them altogether have a little bit more attack power. But they do, I think, both suffer from a little bit of accuracy over the short swords. I know the assassin dagger does.
But keeping him in that middle slot for that accuracy bonus is going to make up for that.
Yeah, it definitely does relieve a little bit of that pressure. And we'll see Rex have a very easy time with this Baigen. Could possibly even just pass turn until Balam's turn and have him get off a Quake, and then maybe one jump from Kayn and it's over.
Yep, passing until the Quack Kid. Yeah, that was a single Quake, I think.
Yep, just the one Quake. Quake is so powerful, and since the HP on that spot gets spread at least a little bit, even though Baigen still has the bulk of it.
And Phineas is down to just his Yang.
Yeah, I missed when we were watching Rex. It looks like a breath came out, and at least some people had. At least one person had a Star Veil up, since Yang is still available.
And Rex is going to be happy to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet he is overjoyed at what it was essentially otherwise a miss, getting that Cecil, then going straight for deals, and then getting an absolutely wonderful reward for that in the next Excalibur.
Which is going to wreck that Mylon.
Yeah, this Mylon actually doesn't have, it won't do anything bonus to the Mylon. Will do extra to any of the guests that are around. It's Mylon Z that you really want Excalibur, or even more so a Crystal Sword for.
Doesn't even matter. That Quake just ends that fight.
Yeah, Quake is strong enough that you actually start thinking about just reordering your party, throwing a curse ring on someone, um, and putting Palom in the top spot so that he could just go first constantly with Quake. It's just that strong.
I think at this point, Rex might have to go Antlion.
Oh, we still got the top of the
Or
tower.
the
We've still
moon.
got we've got there's plenty of options. We have the top of the tower. Cecil opens up a lot. You're probably a little bit sad that you already spent your siren. So we might see a going to the top of Lower Babel. That's about 25,000 XP. That Cecil will be very glad to turn into 50,000 for him. So I would not be surprised by that play from Rex.
Keyless Tower is always a good play when you need a little bit of leveling.
Yeah, there's nothing that should be too scary there at this point. Palom cleans up a lot. Even level 1 Cecil with an Excal does a lot of work for you up there too.
I'm gonna back row glitch that Cecil real quick, so he can go burr from the back row.
Yep, this is the second time we talked about back row glitching, and what he's doing is maybe even the third time, but if you equip a weapon that has the long range property, like a bow and arrow or a boomerang, that'll set a flag on the character that says, "Hey, this person can attack from long range right now." When you unequip it, the game never does what you would think it should do and unset that flag. So as soon as you give someone the ability to attack from long range, they just keep it forever. Both Rosa and Edward already start the game with their starting equipment too, which is kind of neat.
But getting some of your big melee fighters like Edge and Cecil back row glitch makes them powerful hitters while not taking a lot of damage while in the back row. Especially if you put a crystal armor on that Cecil.
Yeah, and it really lets you kind of get out ahead of what the original designers would think of for an experience curve. You can do a lot of stuff, especially with a cover Cecil in the back row that you normally couldn't do, since you would be able to cover people and kind of take the hits for them. He's in the back row. He effectively has a huge defense boost, so you get a whole lot out of doing that.
And Rex is about to check top of tower. Just another floor or so to go.
Infineous once again left with Yang. Hey,
There's required D-Knight.
now this will
top
do
of tower is required.
Yeah, absolutely. And this will do about 300, like mid 2 to low 300 per swing. So Cecil is going to take a quick nap. We'll see if Rex is able to get a life potion back on him or just have cures. That would also be an option, but
Ready using Ashura? Yeah.
66% of the time, it does what you want.
Yep, I'm just gonna cure to keep that Cecil up. Must be weird for Cecil to fight that former shadow of himself right there.
Yeah, this time he's got friends though, so it's fine. But Infineous is through those D-Lunars, got his edge. I think replace the Rydia with edge, and hopefully he'll be through this Kanato in not too hard of a time.
23 levels off that one fight for that Cecil. And found the Bahamut summon for Rydia.
Yeah, Rex will be very happy he's kept that Rydia along. Suddenly, Quake no longer looks quite as attractive once you have the power of a Dragon God on your side.
Exactly.
But that does mean we are down to the 2 Fame March bosses, and anything on the moon, and Antlion. So Antlion slowly creeps back into our runner's consciousness, I bet, of like, should I go check this?
But with all the moon bosses on Earth, that means there's gonna be some interesting takes up on that moon.
Yeah, I think we have at least one hourglass somewhere, so if we find like the Dark Imps or the Kaipo guards, they are free and easy at that point. And of course, we haven't seen Edge's parents yet either, so they could also be a pretty nice boss to find up there on the moon. Kylan Woods, there is no actual penalty. Zoe Vermillion, who's the runner of this club, has meta objectives as part of the experience. So for the first race, there was a meta objective of fading Antlion. If you successfully faded Antlion and came in the first 3, you got to have a little bit extra effect on the story. But Antlion was required last seed, so that meta objective continued on through this particular week. And we also have an extra one of completing and then leaving Sealed Cave without using Warp as a secondary meta objective. That could alter the storyline a bit. We haven't seen a Luca key yet, so that one's not really in play yet. But if we continue to not go to Antlion, then a runner of the seed could possibly be getting that storyline beat.
And since we've already had the character check up here, it's going to be straight into the lunar subterrane for Rex. Top to bottom, bottom to top. What do you think?
Probably bottom to top, but I would be very tempted to go do the hairdryer's chest. That's in where you have to normally walk through in vanilla, where Portface was so kind to redo how the lunar surface works, so we can just land the whale pretty much wherever we want. But that hairdryer's chest might give you an extra nice little boost of experience to kind of help you get over the hump of any potentially rude bosses here.
And Infinius finding his sand ruby. Wonder if he's going to go check that. But with his ordeals online and seeing that Cecil, that might be an immediate pickup for Infinius.
Oh, I imagine it probably will be for him. That'll be just a huge boost. And since he, like you said, he doesn't have to do that ordeals, that's an instant Exhale Cecil sitting in your party. I think it's totally worth it. And what I imagine we see him do the same play that Rex did, to go ahead and go pick up some experience for him that is free and easy there via that Dark Knight fight at the top of Lower Babel. Yeah, Infinius without any of the hemming and hawing that Rex had before.
It's like, nope, that's mine now.
Gimme.
And, yep, removing the Edward from the party. So our starting character is no longer there from both razors.
He served both races pretty well, especially Infinius doing some really good work in that Asura fight in Baronin 2.
Quick save before heading either further down or...
We're going to probably do some quick face checks, see if there's anything that we think we can take right away from Rex's side. Also, if it's one of the bosses that we do need. We still do need to do the Fibble Gauntlet. That's not the Gauntlet.
That's a Nakaman.
Yeah, that's not something... I'd probably be resetting at this point. Octo is going to punch pretty darn hard. Exhale Cecil will actually not do that much because Octomam has... she is weak to darkness, which also means that counter-wise in how the game is programmed, she gets a buff to her damage or to her defense against Holy.
A lot of early game bosses are like that they have a weakness or have a resistance or immunity to Holy, because you're not expected to have Holy that early in the game, correct?
Yep, that is pretty much it. And it's to make Dark Knight Cecil feel a little bit stronger against bosses too, since his weapons will do, especially the Black Sword will do extra damage to them. And Asura doing the job of that life potion that Cecil's throwing.
And as, at least with Octomom, as it loses tentacles, it gets a lot slower. So after a while, this boss ends pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Rex has gotten to the point of being stabilized. Not probably isn't going to lose anybody at this point, at least not for the end of the fight. Unless Octo gets one last punch in, it's a Rydia or Palin.
Especially with 3 melee fighters hitting back to back. And there goes that Bahamut.
Yeah, I think that Octoman is just about ready to take a nap.
That's pretty that makes me giggle in irony a little bit. One of Cecil's last attacks hits for 666.
Yeah, numbers are great.
And there's Octomam down.
Meanwhile, Infinius gets his speech, but gets no experience on his Cecil. Really unfortunate for him.
Oof. Well, there's a nice Zeus gauntlet for that Cecil and Rexroll party.
Yeah, I'd be like, I don't hate it. We had to do that anyway for the objective, and that's a bunch of strength for Cecil.
Cecil go burr.
Yeah, he go for a little bit harder now. It is not vanilla agility happy the bunny, I don't believe.
Oh, yep, heading to that ribbon room for that double key item check.
Yeah, double key item. Hello, Wyvern.
Yeah, I was missing a lunar sparkle there. So Wyvern decided to just stay on the moon.
Yep, it looks like Infinius is deciding to probably steal some sirens with this edge here. Knocking Kane off. Yang is probably going to punch himself a little bit. Get some nice stealing gun with edge. And then probably do a little bit of a grind with those sirens in order to get Cecil the experience that he missed out on earlier. Like we talked about way early, here's where those extra star veils come in handy.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like Palin probably has an exact 15 agility since he went first, and I assume that Rex put the curse ring on him, and that does put you at exactly 0, which then does a little bit of a different thing than you might expect in the game, because it does give you, then lets you go first. Everyone gets set to relative agility 1. Everyone moves exactly as fast as possible.
Like getting the initiative ability in a lot of other games. Having that first hit is always nice.
Yep, and now we're in a little bit of a race to see if there are enough life potions and turns for Rex to get stuff out. Yeah, it does take a quick reset.
Resets.
Yep, there's that 0 agility. Throws the battle speed all the way to 6. Hopefully it gets probably 4 star veils off here. And then with Rydia getting 1 off, we'll see that Dragon God come out, and we'll see some Mega Nuke into Reflected Mega Nuke, because when Wyvern gets a summon cast on her, she responds with more Mega Nuke.
See, I did not know that. So it's good to, that's the second boss, I believe, that has a counter attack for specifically summons.
Yeah, Beldam also will counter summons, and Ogopogo also counter summons. Ogopogo, and the D-Lunars do as well. D-Lunars just heal themselves. Well, hopefully 2 Star Bells is enough for him. I might have been interested to try and see if I could get one other character up and Starveiled in time before the Bahamut comes out.
It looks like Rex is trying to just out DPS. Oh, nope. And resets out again with that nuke targeting that Rydia.
Yeah, he's got to not be losing those 50-50 chances. That's the other reason to get another person out there. Just have another body to be targeted. But I think he might be going, just trying to find a different way through. Maybe get Palom 1 extra agility so he's no longer actually at 0, which is actually usually a little bit preferable. And Kain, unfortunately, does not do quite enough damage to that alert when Infinius is ready to stop the steel grind. Ha ha ha! That's a Golbez. So Infinius does have to fight a Staleman here. We'll get a little extra XP, I guess, is a reward-ish?
Ish?
Yeah, heavy on the ish. But Rex is going to be faced with another 50-50 here. Going to just hope that whoever stays alive at the end is able to get a Star Veil off. Because Golbez will do most of the work himself here, but you do have to have someone actually get a Veil up in time. And I don't know if you caught that, Kairu, but that was a Power Robe out of that treasure chest from Infinius. That's another nice pickup for that Cecil.
Mm-hmm. And when Infinius does come up to the lunar subterrane and finds that Zeus Gauntlet, pretty much sets up for your best best Cecil, except for having a crystal sword.
Yeah, Power Robe, Zeus Gauntlet, Excal Cecil is a force for sure.
They're now doing a bit of an egg grind.
I'm just hoping that the Star Veil for Rex lasts long enough to trigger the Y script.
But yeah, you're right. Golbez is doing most of that damage. There we go.
Yeah, the magic power at this spot is just
ridiculous.
Intense.
There's the path that was required. Golbez required. So the play of coming up to the moon and doing some of these moon spots is paying off. Means moon's required as well.
Yep, we knew that the White Sphere Altar was definitely required already, but now that we have other spots up there too, it's definitely Rex is feeling probably pretty good about deciding to come up here and not bother with Antlion or with those Fame Arch bosses.
Because right now it's down to a boss and a character hunt, isn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. We need to find the Fubu Gauntlet and we need to find Sid. So we're gonna probably be resetting out of anything that doesn't give us access to one of those things. We see a Legend Sword or an Adamant Rock. Probably not gonna pick them up.
So Earth Crystal would probably be a good bet for the 2 character checks in Tower of Babel. Or Tower Zot. So finding Earth Crystal might help. Hook Route might help. So finding Hook.
Yep, Hook, Package, and Earth Crystal are the ones that give us direct access to, and Baron Key, our last character checks we don't have access to yet, we can still do the giant. That is available right now.
And there's Demist for a double bonus. But this looks like this one's going to hit hard.
Yeah, this is a real punchy spot. Demus is already going to be fading back into mist form. This is a place where if this Demus does have required value, this extra grind that Infinis is doing will help out a little bit. He'll have noticeably better levels than Rex does at this point, and we'll get through it a little bit faster.
Right now, just got to wait out that Demist.
Yeah, and it's always one of the interesting push and pulls of this game to me, of when do I grind and how far do I do it if I'm doing a little bit of a pre-zero miss levels grind.
King of Dragons is probably going to be putting in some good work here.
I mean, the real nice thing about this fight, though, even when it's scary, is that Demus only takes out 3 people at a time, so you do have a chance to recover.
And Infineus is at the level now where he can just straight up kill an egg without it hatching. So getting closer and closer to the end of that egg grind. And picks up a siren off that one. So that was a free hit.
Yeah, I love it when that happens. Get an extra 34,000 experience just for free out of that one. Yeah, Frog Squash in chat asking, of the 5 objectives listed, how many do they need to be done? We actually have to do all 5. This is more like the Fabul Gauntlet than the Highway to the Threema Zone, where we do have to complete all of the objectives in order to get our crystal, rather than just some of them, like we've been used to seeing for most of the races that you've seen for Enterprise recently.
Looks like Infineus is gonna go and loot Castle Eblin.
I think he's looking specifically for the Mad Ogre chest, because not only can Edge steal sirens from those alerts, he can steal Bacchus wine from the Mad Ogres.
Ah, yeah, I can see that. Bacchus strats are one of my favorites.
Yeah, so he's leveled up. He's got 4 melee fighters. Just level everybody up. Found the chest pretty much right away, so that's nice.
The second chest, I believe.
Yeah.
Cecil one-shotting each of them.
Yeah, we'll be knocking it down to 1 of them pretty soon, just so we don't have to deal with a lot of fights.
And get to 1 Bacchus off the top of it. Using Edge over on Rexroll's side is a MP bank for Rydia.
Yeah, that's some good heads up play. Make sure that you can get a little bit extra cast out of that Bahamut. But this fight has been going on pretty long for Rex, unless he's had a reset in the middle.
It's been. This Demist is a pretty big damage wall here. Getting a fair few of Bacchus lines over on Infinity's side. And down goes D-Mist.
Yeah, nicely done by Rex. That's a pretty hard fight, even with the pauses that you get at the levels that he's at.
And learns Stone, so any type of guard that comes across is going to be pretty much essentially free. Finds a White Spear for his Kain.
Yeah, Kain is not displeased by this.
Now does Rex check Cave of Value before heading back down to Earth, or?
Well, he's also still has the Vanilla Murasame altar where Pale Dim lives in the vanilla game to check too, since he did go straight down to the bottom. So I imagine he does that first before going over to Cave Value.
I always forget that check. But yeah, that puts that Kain in well-hitting territory.
Yeah, Kain has definitely got a big boost over that Poison Axe, which served us well early, but has definitely not kept up with the goodies that Cecil got. Meanwhile, Infinity is showing off the use of Excalibur as an item rather than as an attack tool. It actually doesn't do anything on its own, but the main thing it's doing is it's preventing Cecil from having to parry or to use a different item, and therefore keeping him in the cover status, because if you'd cover on the edge, so he's able to not kill the Mad Ogre, keep covering Edge, and let Edge keep stealing all he'd like.
And chat is also saying he did not finish Wyvern. Oh, and there's a gauntlet.
Yep, so this is nice and required also.
So Moon is super hard required. What is that? 3 out of the 5 objectives are on the Moon?
Yeah, finding the pass, the one that we knew about with the White Spear altar, and then defeating this Fibble Gauntlet here.
And this is going to be a fair amount of experience for that party, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Rex won't have to do a whole lot of grinding after this in order to get ready for Zeromus.
But I have to admit, this Fibble Gauntlet is hurting.
Yeah, without being set up to have like Rydia maybe going off at Relative Agility 1 or Cecil going off with there, because I'm pretty sure that Edge is not wearing Cursed Ring. And he's a pretty fast person. So the agility and just the turn order is going to be a little bit less than ideal in terms of getting off some of your more powerful attacks right away.
And Scythe is calling package at D-Mist for Sid.
That would be really interesting. We also do still have that Wyvern sitting at the D-Lunar spot too that Rex has absolutely not finished. So that could be hiding the Earth Crystal, could be hiding the Baron Key or the Hook, each of which could give a character check. Or could be hiding like Luca Key into Hook.
It's been a while since I've seen these red giant enemies. But yeah, this Fibble Gauntlet is hitting Rex hard. But Infinius is done with his Bacchus grind, and we will see where he is heading. I would say he's either heading Moon or Feymarch. And he's heading Moon.
Oh, I'm sure he's heading Moon. He does know that there is that set objective of getting to the White Spear. We knew that we have that's a location to go to. so that's going to absolutely drive you there as soon as you feel comfortable going to do it.
And Rex doing some changing around in the party and equipment to try and help with that Fabul Gauntlet fight.
And Frog Squash asking if he does fight again, will it be different? No, it'll be the same. Each location itself is different from other ones because they draw from the pretty much the floor they're on or the area around them. They get a little bit interestingly chosen when you have stuff like the Ordeals fights where they're all three right there, so they have to draw. They draw from roughly the same pool, so they draw different encounters, but each one is its own set. And also the Odin spot draws from the encounter pool in Land of Summon Monsters.
And I was wrong. He's going up Giant to do the character check at the back of Giant.
Yeah, I wonder if he's feeling a little bit behind or deciding, he did struggle with that Asura fight, struggled with Dwarf Castle, hasn't seen any .duns there, as far as I know. Last time I checked the Discord, no one had finished yet. So could be feeling a little bit behind and deciding to make a pretty bold gamble. This will also absolutely finish off any experience questions that he has, and it is 2 boss checks that he doesn't know that the gauntlet is waiting for him on the moon.
And that's Odin at the first spot.
Yeah, Odin here, not terribly scary. The stats here aren't too terrifying. And if we do have a Thunderclaw for either Yang or Edge, that'd be really nice. But Zanika Tuskin is not going to do that much damage.
It's not going to need it because Bacchus Wine go Burr.
Oh, there's a lot of health here, so we might see one of them.
All going 4 melee fighter Bacchus Wines and having Form as the lightning backup, I believe, for Odin.
Yeah, I'm going to toss that Lit too. I'm not going to do too much damage because I'm pretty sure he's cursed, so we'll see 700. Oh, that's a lot more than I thought it was. But Odin is extra weak to lightning, so that's about 500 itself for the lightning cast, times 4 to get to that 2000. As we see on Rex's side, he did adjust that party order through Palom in the middle like we saw when he was attempting the Wyvern fight, just to get Rydia casting sooner, because she's probably the most important person in terms of raw damage dealing in the party.
Especially for multiple person encounters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting that nice spread out damage of 5,000 plus will always be helpful. And Odin going down over on Infinius' side just before an Odin was about to head off. And that's a fair amount of experience for that party, too.
Yeah, the Giant gives a lot of experience. You'd love to see it if you're here with 10 key items, because that would have been 200,000. But you're not going to shake your head at that.
Oof, that was a rough explode on the Red Giant side.
Yeah, taking out both Cecil and Edge there. Oof.
And is that a vanilla CPU?
That sure is. And with the total lack of actual dedicated white mages, this gauntlet is really rough.
That it is. It's down to just the Kain over there. and goes for the reset yet again.
Yeah, Rex might need to pick up a few more levels before actually finishing that out.
Look like he's heading over to Cape of Value.
Yes, there is always value in Cave Bahamut. It just might always be the value you desire.
And that CPU is down pretty fast there.
Yeah, those are some real serious levels on Phineas's side. That's us doing an awful lot of work. And even Palom chipping in with a nice quake I saw. And the question of the hour, do we have an engineer? Do we have somebody else? Hey!
So, is there dupe characters? I don't believe there is.
There will be one duplicate. There are 13 character spots available in the flag set, and there are 12 characters. So one person gets repeated.
So there is quite a possibility that Giant is required.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phineas has to be feeling 100% Galaxy Brain right now. That also means that once he does the White Spear, he can maybe take a gamble and do a lot of just face checks of bosses too. Like he knows he has to finish the White Spear altar. He knows there are a lot of bosses that are hidden behind key items, so that's a pretty big risk. But you could decide to just look at all the bosses that you have access to and decide whether or not that's the gauntlet and fight them.
This Val Valis is hitting hard.
And I did forget that we do have to fight Golbez for that pass too. So Infinius not quite in full face check mode. And yeah, the Bahamut spot, just like the Wyvern spot, is awfully mean, and CPU too for physical fights. There's a lot of attack power here. It is not a good time.
So Rex is heading back to Earth, it looks like, while Infinius is starting the lunar subterrane.
And Ghost Rider X 2099 asking how many objectives we need. We do need to complete all 5 of them in order to get the crystal.
So at this point, Rex is really only trying to find where Sid is.
Yep, that's the piece of information Rex absolutely is looking for.
We do find the Earth Crystal with D-Mist.
Yeah, so that is the best possible place for a second Sid, since we do have 2 characters available up there. I imagine we'll see Rex go pretty much straight there. I don't think he'll check the treasury, but it's possible. Because we're on T standard, the treasury isn't any better than any other place. We're a little bit late in the seed for that to be a valuable time investment most of the time.
Gonna go unlock. Well, I'm checking the item shop real fast. Buys a stack of silk webs as well.
Yeah, the silk webs could be useful against the gauntlet, could be useful against the wyvern too, just to slow him down a little bit. And we are going to get that treasury check.
Crystal Helm. Diamond Helm. Another Ashura. Charm Rod.
Charmrod so far the big winner of this treasury check, so I think.
And Rexwell also fighting the inventory boss yet again.
Yep, that is one of the downfalls of checking the treasury late. Ooh, Strength Ring, also really nice. So Strength Ring, Charmrod are the things that I would have been happy to pick up out of there, but I would probably also feel like I shouldn't have picked it up once I finished it.
That felt more like a money bank than most.
Yeah, Neobari in chat pointing out that there's a really good chance we're getting a white mage out here, out of Zot. Likely we're getting either Rosa or Porom or Fu. If it's not one of them, it'd have to be then Tella and Sid, and you wouldn't be sad if you got Sid.
Exactly. And Infinius heading into that Wyvern fight can immediately reset out to get set up for it.
Yep, slows the battle speed all the way down to 6. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he decides to use all his Bacchus wines, or maybe just has Setzel go burr, or maybe 2 people, just because he's only got 15 left, and if he's looking for to have to maybe use them in most of the fights up here, he'd actually be out of them by the time it was time for his Aromas.
Free fight up at Tower of Zot with the Water Hag.
Yep, would be pretty free anyway with the levels that Rex has, and with the Bahamut there sitting in Rydia's pocket. But gonna be nice and free and easy here. It would definitely be interesting to see what we get out of this check for Infinius too.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the 2 key items in that those chests. There's a Tella.
Well, that's somebody you can cast. Yep, you can cast Gear 4.
And is already online due to the Ordeals play. So that's... I would consider that Tella. Except there's a Rosa.
Yep, now Rex has to decide whether he's going to... what he's going to do. Does he level up that Rosa? He does have the edge still, so it can do that Siren stealing that Infinius did earlier.
Not taking the Tella is... getting rid of the edge for that Rosa.
Interesting. And Infinius is done with that Wyvern fight, but I did not see what the rewards were for that, since I was so focused on the characters there in Zot.
Yeah, I missed them too.
Hey, there's those couple guys we were talking about earlier.
Bahamut Gober.
Ooh, and Phineas takes one look at that Golbez and says, no, I'm not going to bother with that. Unfortunately, that's his pass.
And Phineas, and also it looks like from that Wyvern ribbon spot was Pan and Spoon.
Ooh, those are some pretty nice key items, and that might drive you also to not finish the entire moon. So a lot of choices available. Like you get this this demist, all of a sudden you'd be like, I've got 2 checks available to me that can get me new bosses down on Earth. Maybe I'll go do one of those. And a Baron key for Rex. That's another character check for him. So he's definitely feeling like he's on a good path for just getting rewarded with character check after character check.
And Phineas heading into the demist fight, probably going to get through it a bit faster than Rex did.
Yeah, all the extra levels that Phineas has will absolutely help him clean this up a little bit faster. One thing that Rex did have when he was able to time it correctly was the Bahamut summon. That 6,000 is an awful lot of help when you get it out there. But since his characters are able to actually... Yeah, going straight for that Baron play. Yeah, as the since his characters are able to, and Phineas's characters are able to survive some of the punches from Demist, definitely helping him out a little bit, just taking less time getting people back up.
And these Baron checks probably won't be too difficult with the levels that Rex has on the character. It's just keeping Rosa alive to get some of that experience.
Yeah, it won't be too hard to keep Rose alive. The worst case scenario is that you just cover with Cecil right away. But I don't think we're terribly worried about having to keep her alive too much.
And we'll find out if this is an Elements or if we're getting full leg or quarter leg.
We might not see any leg.
Fair.
I think this is roast leg.
Yeah. Doesn't even get past the Mylon Z. And who is 3 imps in a trench coat?
They will meet the Dragon God. And
Indeed, they will.
They will be crispy. And Phineas picks up his white spear from the Crystal Sword altar. And Porum, the other white mage. Sorry, Porum.
Now
we
Rex
already
has
have
got to be
Rosa.
thinking. Rex has got to be thinking, where is this Sid?
Yeah, I think that the giant suddenly becomes very tempting for you. You've done other checks. You have a Rosa that you want experience on. And the giant is a great place to get experience on that Rosa. Yeah, Scythe Marshal. Normally, the walk from that Crystal Sword altar is really obnoxious. So if you have exit, you like to cast exit to get back to the surface, get a quick heal, and then come back down. It's actually noticeably faster to do it that way than to walk all the way from the altar back up to this spot.
And that was just some Artemis arrows for the first Baron boss.
I mean, I don't hate him.
And Phineas is finding out where that gauntlet is today.
Yep, and he will have a much nicer time than Rex did with this. Meanwhile, Edge's parents are the true kings of Baron, sitting on the Baron throne.
It's a nice free fight for what could normally be a evil spot.
But Rex is having none of this. He's going to summon a Dragon God and try to get them out of the way faster. And it is absolutely faster if you're able to do it fast enough to kill if you kill the queen or kill the king, the queen will disappear via script. So if you can get the king down fast enough, you can save time over to them, just letting them cast.
And having a Berserk caster in the party now for Cecil and Kain makes this so we're not needing that Edge anymore for any kind of Bacchus steel grinds.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of advantage for Rex overall. Doesn't have to do that long steal that Infinius did. Gets our Rat Tail. That's no direct value because we still have no hook. But Rex looks like he's going to walk that out and walk out that actual experience for Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mr. Bus Driver in chat asking about Rex's routing. Rex went to the moon pretty early. Managed to get through a couple of the fights. Did the Demist at the Crystal Sword altar. Took out Octomam at the White Spear altar and took out Golbez at the Ogopogo spot. Which 2 of those were absolutely required. Saw the Elk Gauntlet, struggled with a little bit because his levels are a little low and doesn't have a dedicated white mage. But getting that Earth Crystal has definitely let him kind of get Rosa up. She's got some levels. We'll see if he's able to get some more levels out of it and see what his choices are to maybe get him through that gauntlet.
And Rex is looking like he's heading for the Fame Arch bosses. Maybe to get some more experience, but
experience, probably still looking for the hook or the package. He might have forgotten entirely about the giant character check. We can see that these red giants are just doing a number on the runners. Infinius does get through, doesn't have them explode all over his party, which is a very nice change of pace. But this is just a rough gauntlet.
The kind of place where, as commentators and viewers, it is a nice place to see the alt gauntlet, but for as a runners, it's rude.
Yeah, I would definitely be feeling the lack of even Asura and the healing from that Rydia Asura summon in these fights. It's just so hard to have the staying power without some J items like Hourglasses to kind of knock some of these enemies out, or any actual dedicated healer.
So now that we've seen Wyvern and Ogopogo, so this could be Plague, Pale Dim.
And that's it, because we saw D-Lunars also.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Infinius did peek these, but I wasn't quite paying attention as to which bosses they were when Infinius was here the first time. And Rex doing a great job using Cecil and his cover ability here, walking through the Fame March, knocked everyone's HP down pretty darn low, so he healed up Cecil just a little bit, or got Cecil up to full. Cecil's going to automatically cover anything, which means that Pale Damage is only going to be hitting Cecil. Cecil's well defended and in that back row like we talked about earlier, which means he's taking very, very little damage from a spot that normally should do a lot.
And Infinius and Phineas reset out of probably, I think, maybe the last fight in that alt gauntlet. Those red giants are beat sticks.
Yeah, they hit pretty hard. Those emissions doing a lot, and he's pretty much only got Cure 2 as his healing. Like you said, it's definitely something that as a runner you're not happy to see. I'm thinking now like what I would do, and you know, the play to go find a white mage somewhere, anywhere would be kind of tempting, or just more levels. Eventually, more levels solves all your problems.
Probably by the time that Rex decides to come back up to the moon, it will be well leveled enough for that fight.
Possibly. He at least will get Rosa to Cure 3, might hope to get her to Cure 4. We'll see if he does anything, any extra levels. Also, we'll see if he goes into the giant, that will solve his levels just fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those golf gauntlets too that, with the shift from S Standard to S Pro, means that we don't have hourglasses available except in Coco's shop, possibly there. So that means the runners really don't have any way of kind of freezing these encounters and doing any regroup.
And with that, the Pale Dim is down. Gets the Twin Harp from it. We might get some music today.
Let us hope. And I'm pretty sure here we're going to see Rex abuse the ATB system of Final Fantasy IV just a little bit. If you have characters at relative agility 1 and you start berserking a couple of them, those characters are never going to die. So once if Rosa's able to get a Zerg on Kain, he won't even have to do any life revival stuff that he's kind of setting up right now, because Edge and Kain will just do all the, or Cecil and Kain will just do all the work, and we'll just kind of sit 0 on the count forever. You can actually just hold A for any other characters besides those two to make sure that they don't die as well. Finney's looking a little bit better this time, I think, through the gauntlet. I'm not quite sure what fight he's in. But this is one of the fights where he, if I remember right, looked in a far worse position earlier.
Plague's already done, and we get from that plague just another apple.
Okay, so I guess it's all poisoned apples that have been being handed out. I mean, definitely one from Plague. Like as the King of Fabul and Sheila, like Adam and Eve handing out apples to people too.
So many apples, so little time. What is this, the Feast Community Club tonight?
It's actually a retelling of Snow White.
Yep, we're gonna get some music tonight, y'all.
Rex, People's Champion, first on the restraint to the Job Dwarf, immediately going and doing that Twin Harp pretty much. Having a little bit of trouble finding a Black Chocobo though. There he goes. Oh, there was one hourglass, and Phineas has saved it for last. Pretty sure this double dragon fight is the last fight in this gauntlet. So he should now be home free. Do you have any requests that Asuka can't possibly fulfill since she already rolled the seed a long time ago?
I like Hymn of the Faith from Final Fantasy X. It's one of my favorites.
That sounds real good. And Asuka wanting some Xenogears music, so maybe the restreamer knows exactly what's going to be here. She doesn't, but that's okay.
I agree, Asuka. Xenogears music is pretty good. Gets the hook from that Alt Gauntlet.
Yeah, well, we know that isn't the Cid that we need, because we already have the Cid from Infinius. Unfortunately, he has still left that Golbez down at the bottom and does not have a pass.
Has
he doesn't
no
have to
clue
worry
that the
about...
path at the bottom of the moon, yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of checks ahead of him. He'll probably go straight to do the pan checks first.
But I think we will be quiet for a little bit while we listen to some music.
And Bahamut's there, Bahamut's gone. Final Fantasy 1 music is all done. And we get a Legend Sword. I do really enjoy getting those 8-bit or 16-bit versions of 8-bit songs. It's just nice to have a little bit extra, a little bit of a richer sound than the NES could produce, and it's really nice to hear them.
So at this point, Rex really doesn't have many places to go except back up to the moon or Giant.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to think about that Giant or if he is going after that Wyvern.
He's going to the Giant of Babel.
Yeah,
he's about to find his Cid.
Yeah, that is big news for Rex. Not only find his Cid, that'll finish off his grind. He should be able to get through that Odin and CPU pretty easily, and having Rosa on the team and she'll getting a lot of experience from that. That'll be really, really nice.
And Infinius is checking the pan. Finds the Leviathan summon.
We have found all 3 of the top tier ones.
Unfortunately, Infinius can't use any of them, except for a nice pile of cash.
That he could buy a lot of mute bells with.
And he's heading to check Sheila 2 now that he can return the pan. I'm betting it's package or tower key.
Could also be Luca, but package or tower, very reasonable.
Just an Artemis bow.
So the hook giving the rat tail must give us some sort of progression. Unless we did Rex to the Baron, yeah, Rex to the Baron basement already. So yeah, that must be Hook from the Gauntlet provides some progression to Sealed Cave and a tower. And Phineas heading up Zot to pick up a White Mage.
Is Rex gonna get Odin down before? Oh no, there goes the Odin hit. Doesn't hit as hard as I thought it would.
No, the magic power here in the spot is really low. So with Rosa on his team, able to probably cure 3 at this point, we'll be able to keep up with it just fine.
And according to chat, no one is still finished.
Oh, we actually did have a finisher in the race room just a little bit ago. Flurry 14 finishing in first place with a time of 1:45.31.
Good for Flurry.
And of course, Zoe will be doing some checking of Flurry. This is one of the community. This is the only community showcase club of the non-community races. Since all these clubs are put on by individual members of the community and not administered as an official thing quite the same way as the Monday and Friday races. This is the only one that actually requires streaming like the community races themselves do, because Zoe does need to be able to kind of go in and verify and see if anyone had done those meta objectives that we've talked about a couple times. But Odin is done, not quite a Thunderstruck, but still a Quad 9's Lit 3 from that Palom.
Which is nice. And that'll be a good chunk of experience for that party.
Yeah, absolutely. Not quite to 10 key items yet, unfortunately. But Rose,
tier 4.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing that Rex has got to be happiest with. He'll be probably even a little bit happier at seeing the Sid coming out. And we do have a second place finished. Woo Bear comes in second place at a time of 1:47.54.
I wonder if they've all faded Antlion.
It seems entirely plausible that they would do so. There's nothing that actually got us there, and that's actually one of the checks that we forgot that could be a gating check. Tower Key or Liquid Key could be at Antlion.
Infinius taking the Tella over the Palom, I believe.
I think that's entirely reasonable. It gets him a second person who can cast, or gets him a person who can cast Berserk. Well, surprised he didn't also take Rosa, but Tella will do more for him overall for the rest of the seed than Palom will. Frog Squash, the 2 meta objectives were, one was the same one from last time, so someone had done the Fade Antlion. That continued to be a meta objective. And the other one was to complete Sealed Cave and then leave it, all without using Warp.
Oof, getting some of those glow 199s out.
Yeah, hopefully Rydia can get this Bahamut summon off pretty soon. This won't catch the 2 freshly summoned orbs because they weren't in the initial targeting, but does get the CPU down. Means we just need to get a little bit of a cure with Rosa before that attacker goes. That's unfortunate. Foxtrot, I'm not quite sure that I understand your question, but Zoe, I don't know if it's Zoe that decides exactly what happens, or if the person who completed the objective, the meta objective, decides what happens, or if it's a mixture of the both. And I don't know if that. I know Zoe will have to review their VODs So if Flurry completed one or both of them, uh, he would, whatever happens would involve he and Zoe, and then if Woo Bear did.
Oh, there's your answer for you, Zoe pops in the chat. And there's that Sid for Rex. That, other than the football gauntlet, that pretty much puts Rex in go mode.
Yeah, he has all the tools that he needs to complete the seed. He just has to go finish a couple of things. So definitely in the between the Rex and Infineous show that we've been watching for the last almost 2 hours, that has been a fun show to watch. He has definitely got an advantage at this point.
It's nice to have a nice long seed on occasion.
Yeah, there have been a lot of twists and turns with this one. That gauntlet was rude. Rex was largely rewarded for a very early moon dive, and getting that Golbez down first try.
Infineous is really still wondering where that pass could be, not knowing he faded it with that Golbez fight. As Rex is heading up towards that Fabul gauntlet.
One really interesting thing that with the meta objectives in particular is when you see .duns come in and you don't have all of the objectives yet, do you start to think on whether or not the winners of the race fulfilled or did not fulfill those objectives? Because you could be looking at a pass and antlion from Infineous's perspective, and maybe Flurry just decided, nah, I don't care about that meta objective, I'm just going to go straight for it, and it gets rewarded. So really interesting play with how runners approach a seed and watching .duns come in.
It definitely changes everybody's routes. And that's a nice change of pace coming off of the 3-miss zone.
If Infineous gets his rat tail, he does have the hook, so he can go turn in both of those tails if he'd like. I think Rex is back for time number 3 against this gauntlet, but he's got a lot of levels on his side now. Rosette, over 2,000 HP. This will go much, much better.
And doing anywhere between half to a third of the damage that he was getting hit with. 9,000 damage on that Bahamut. Yeah. Rex is going to sweep this gauntlet pretty easily.
Yeah, with the recovery ability of Rosa and that Cure 4, it's going to make it very nice and simple.
And having a lot more of that MP for Rydia to let those Bahamuts pop off is a lot more helpful too.
Yeah, that'll be nice. And just for any viewers later who might be watching a VOD or watching this on YouTube, Zoe has further explained the meta objective stuff, or at least I have finally maybe locked it away in my brain forever. Zoe picks the meta objective. If it gets fulfilled, she also knows what the meta objective flag changes will be, or at least maybe decides at the spot, but it's all Zoe's call on what those are going to be. The brothers just are able to determine whether or not Zoe has to put those into play. So, fulfill a meta objective. You don't get any extra choices. You just get You just have Zoe do a little extra work and change the flags a little bit more.
And not to mention, I do believe the first place winner in each of these mass races does get to change a flag set.
Yep, they will get to change a flag. And speaking of that first place winner, there is Flurry. raiding with some of the party of 3. Thanks, Furley, and GG's.
Makes me curious what Flurry's going to pick. Because you never know what Flurry's going to pick. And Infinius heading towards the Tail Cave to see what the rat and pink tail holds. White shirt for the pink tail.
Definitely don't hate that.
And the rat tail is a package.
Yeah, which does mean... So that does mean that we have... the Antlion Cave does provide some key items, either Tower Key or Luca Key, and one would route into the other, and eventually you'd end up with an Adamant Rock.
Yeah, Antlion is definitely gating a decent chain. As Infinius heads down back into the Thamar to try and take on those Lunar Sparkles.
Yeah, and even with all these extra levels that Rex has, this is still a pretty brutal fight. Has taken on Kane, who's a useful member of his party. Palom is not quite so unnecessary for him, but still doing a number on Rex's party, even with those extra levels he got from doing the Giant.
But Rosa with that life too. And Rex is through his alt gauntlet.
The Hummingway delivery service will soon be handing him a crystal. Oh wait, won't, because he actually has to go unlock the door.
Yeah,
so he'll unlock the door and
Earth.
then get his crystal.
Just in time for the fight.
Infinius are running low on those Bacchus wines. Only has 9 left as he uses the one with that Cecil, so that'll put him to 8.
And with that Divergent and party makeup, with Rex taking that Rosen, pretty much not needing those Bacchus wines, that is saving Rex a whole lot of time without having, especially since he didn't need the edge anymore.
And while we had some of that action going on screen, we did have a 3rd place finisher, Xenocat 82-53-43, has finished in 3rd place with a time of 1:54:43.
Nice.
GG's to Xenocat. And of course, my favorite landing spot for the whale, just outside of Troya. I wonder what those citizens think when it is coming down.
What is that thing? God.
It looks to be as large as their town. Kairu, I see some flags in chat with a letter in them. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Well, seeing as how Zeromus is too big of a big bad to be randomized into any other location, we randomize something different with him. We randomize his sprite. So, would you like to ask the question tonight, Antidale?
Oh, I couldn't possibly take it from you. Go ahead and do it.
So, whose butt are we kicking tonight?
Well done. Palom gets to do his possibly last useful thing of the seed for Rex and gets that crystal tossed. Rosa is hovering over that white magic. We'll probably be casting some Zerk on Cecil, get him nice and angry, and start swinging.
Because that Cecil's going to hit hard.
Yeah, the two of them could probably solo this fight. Or duo this fight. Excellent.
Yeah, that's some hummus miss. For a second there, it looked like a bowl of vanilla ice cream to me, though.
There wasn't that much vanilla here in the seed, so that would definitely be an interesting sprite had it been. But no, we get some nice, delicious hummus. Cecil wishes he had pita chips equipped instead of an Excalibur, but should be going fine just well.
Making me hungry.
Phineas has finished his checks at the Fame Arch and come up with not the pass, and also not the pass. But is headed directly for that Twin Harp.
Or, yeah, he hit Twin Harp, and has he done the Zot check yet either?
Yeah, he did Zot. He had swapped out Palom for Tella.
You're right.
And Rydia's helping out, gets a nice Asura cast there.
Yeah, that Asura is helping out a lot.
And we do have a 4th place finisher now. Tybalt has come in with a time of 2:03.05. GG's to Tybalt for coming in 4th place.
GG everyone so far.
Yeah, everyone who raced this, even people who took it, various looks at it, and decided to forfeit, they've done a heck of a job. This was not an easy seed. You did not get all the tools that you wanted necessarily right away, and there's some pretty rude placements of things. So GG's to everyone for coming out and having fun.
Noticed even putting a Zerk onto that Rydia doing some halfway decent damage.
Yeah, I think either the Heron Robe or a Black Belt was equipped for her. So she was definitely set up to do a little bit of damage. Probably was intending to get a few casts out of her with those, like that one Asura to heal up after the nerf Big Bang, and then just kind of flood the queue a little bit, get some damage in. And we're going to get a nice little reprise of DJ Spoony B playing a little Final Fantasy 1 music for us. And that is a crack, a boom, a flash, and a dying bowl of hummus. All the hummus has been eaten. The chickpeas are no more. The party is satiated.
That was a good snack.
And we will see if we can get Rex in for an interview if he's interested. And of course, Terra Ryzen, I agree. Roasted red pepper hummus is one of the best hummuses possible. And I believe that sound means that we are now joined by Rex Harul. Rex, GG's.
Thank you.
So tell us about gauntlets. How do you like them?
Well, I don't know what kind of sick individual thought of an idea for an alt gauntlet, but whoever that is, should get a slap on the wrist. Ow!
Yeah, should he also get a new job every seed too?
Something like that. Oh, mackerel. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, like, I don't play, like, the super difficult, like, Kata or Catalite seeds that are out there, but this was among the most difficult seeds that I've played, without a doubt.
Yeah, there were some rude bosses. You did a great job of going to the moon early and kind of handling some of the stuff and getting the 50-50 right on that Golbez to where you could just kind of let him do most of the damage himself was excellent.
Yeah, that's the lucky thing about Golbez in that spot is as long as you get one person alive, you're usually good to go.
Yeah, Scott is saying to blame it on a Stone Dingley for the gauntlet.
I don't know if I'll do that, but okay. I'm happy to take the blame for this one, so at least for the alt gauntlet part.
Yes, for the inception of it into the randomizer.
But yeah, I mean, I felt good. I was able to fade both of the meta objectives as well, or fade the Antlion. I didn't even get the Luca key, so who knows? That was probably an Antlion or something like that.
Luca key was locked behind Antlion.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I checked pretty much everywhere else. The only other thing that I couldn't beat was that Wyvern. That was a nasty piece of work there too.
Yeah, and especially with Palom having
and Valvolus, I guess.
Yeah, Valvolus was a good fade. That's a mean. Those Mega Sisters too gave you a little bit of trouble early. Wait,
no, I was able to get through them. I used a Boreas to knock out Mindy right away, and then they weren't much of a threat.
Yeah, that's the perils of playing seeds before you commentate.
But yeah, lots of tough things and not a lot of options. This seed was not generous with key items at all. The crystal, I believe, was my 10th key item that I got for opening the door to Zeramis. So everything that I did, I had to do without the 2x experience boost. Luckily, I figured with all of the objectives that are required on this that I wouldn't need to worry about grinding. Turns out I didn't. I mean, going through the giant to find Sid, when I saw Porum, I think was the character from Baron, I couldn't believe it. Like, oh, I've got to go to giant now.
Yeah, and you did most of that seed also without a white mage. How did it feel going through there with pretty much just Cure 2s?
Well, I used a lot of Q2 potions. I had the Ashura for desperate situations, but I hate relying on Ashura. It's always gray face when I need it not to be. So I was relying on those cure potions. So when I saw Rosa, I knew I wanted her on my team. I decided to get rid of Edge because I didn't find anything good for him. I didn't do a lot of shopping. I did most of my shopping before I knew that Edge was available. So I don't know. There might have been long swords or ninja swords available somewhere. I just wasn't looking for them.
Yeah, it's just S Pro, so longswords would have been the best you could have seen without forging.
Right, but yeah, they're not available in gated shops. Oh, huh.
Longswords are, but ninja aren't. Ninja are one tier too high.
Okay, well, I didn't look for them either way, so.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were playing whether or not that Rosa would tempt you to go straight to the giant just for the experience for it too, and the wrapped up character check.
Well, I mean that was in the back of my mind, but at the same time, I knew I had the two Fame Arch bosses, and they were going to give a decent chunk of experience just by themselves. And if I would have gotten the Sid through that Baron check, then I probably would have just, I don't know, maybe reaction grind or something like that in order to get her up to Cure 4 and then just gone from there. Especially if I would have gotten, if I could have gotten the 10 key items. That was another thing that was really tough to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that Wyvern was nasty in the ribbon room, and it only gated a spoon and a pan.
Well, I mean, clearly it wasn't required. Because I was able to finish it. Just the whole time I'm thinking, please don't make me go back to that Wyvern. It's so far away and so hard.
Yeah, well, you did a great job with that seed. Kairu, do you have any other further questions for Rex?
No, it was a good seed, and it was a good, nice, long race. With some of the low level strats that we were getting in the Threema zone, it was nice to see a longer seed.
Well, maybe nice to see. Playing is another thing, but I will.
Fair enough, Rex.
I will say I'm very happy with how I finished today. I saw a lot of people forfeiting this, and I don't blame anybody. This was very rude indeed, especially compared to what we had for a flag set last week. The change from last week to this week was pretty dramatic, but it was really fun. I'm very proud of what I did. I'm like 5th place in a race this difficult. I'm very happy about that finish.
Yeah, absolutely. You very well should be. There's no slouches who are finishing the seed in under 215, 220, and really, like, there's a lot of tech to know, and just even having to grind all the way up to where you did and still have a little bit of trouble with that gauntlet. Like, you lost a couple people in there. You had to do some life 2s.
Yeah, losing Kane was sad. I didn't care. Clear, as you probably figured out, I didn't really care about Pala much that seed, but yeah. Well, thanks everybody for putting on the show. Thanks for choosing me for the restream, and I'm gonna watch the VOD of it pretty soon. So I always like to watch myself and hear what others have to say, and hopefully I can learn from it.
I hope so too, and thanks for letting us showcase you tonight, Rex. Have a great evening.
You too. Bye now.
And that was Rex Harul, our 5th place finisher. And while we were interviewing Rex, we did have a 6th place finisher, a Stone Dingley, finishing at a time of 2:12.14. GG's.
With Infinius heading into into the Valvalis fight, I believe after a reset after seeing Valvalis, but makes short work of Valvalis afterwards.
Yeah, I think maybe if the wrong character gets punched or weaked from Val pretty early, it's a little bit hard for Infinius to recover. There's a tower key. And also there is our 7th place finisher, Poydrak, finishing with a time of 2:13.41. GG's to Poydrak.
Nice.
And Infinius is absolutely just refusing to do that Golbez, has no desire to be laughed at.
Yeah, that's where that pass is. Infinius probably heading down to check tower. It was already checked Lucan. It was only in Hanzo Steel.
Yep, it was the Murasame. So I know we've forgotten about a lot of checks as we talked about stuff and said, oh, this has to be blah, blah, blah. But I think we're finally down to knowing that this has to be the Adamant Rock.
I believe you're right.
And we get the good doctor. Just shifted a little bit. I wonder if he speaks with an outrageous accent in this location.
But yeah, Infinius won't make quick work of Dr. Luggage here.
Ooh, and we get Tella going first in Infinius' party, so he's at that magical 15 agility that comes down to 0 with that curse ring being worn.
Mm-hmm. doing a 15 points of damage.
And so looking ahead, we'll have Flurry 14 changing a flag out of this flag string for sure for winning this race, and we'll see what comes of. I believe when I was reading the Race Warriors channel a little bit, that Flurry did indeed fade Antlion, which means that that particular box will get unlocked, and Zoe will be able to change some stuff based on that. And then there's also whatever else Zoe might change as part of the normal change from week to week. So we could come to a fairly different flag set next week. Based on all those possible things that could be changing stuff up for us.
Exactly, and a new meta objective next week, since Antlion gated Luca this seed.
Yep. So next week we'll very likely also have two, keeping that walk out of the sealed cave completed and walk out without using warp will likely be standing as well. But we won't have to fade Antlion anymore. We can freely go into Antlion Cave right at the beginning of the seed, as far as we know. Who knows? There might still be dangers.
Well, Zoe's saying something about maybe having required Antlion.
You've entered the negative zone. Everything's inverted. Infinius with probably a very, very large sigh, going back to Lunar Subterrane, probably heading all the way back down to the bottom.
Gonna go to that gold by fight, find that pass, and then have to come all the way back out to go back down there.
But while he is making that walk, we do have an 8th place finish. Microcorgs has finished in 8th place with a time of 2:18:23. GG's, Microcorgs.
Very nice. And we do have a question for Infinius too. There are a couple ways to cheese the Golbez fight, and we'll see if he takes advantage of any of them. You can use Size and Piggy to on your White Mage and melee fighters, respectively. Or he just needs Piggy for everybody. And because of the status priority list that Final Fantasy IV has, certain statuses won't override other ones. So Piggy is a higher status priority than the Hold spell, or whatever particular paralyzed spell that Golbez is casting here. So because everyone has the Piggy status on, they actually won't get help. So he'll be able to freely get a Star Veil off from anyone. I won't quite have the same 50-50 target chance that Rex had, just because Golbez is so fast here that you don't have time to enter the menu, get a Star Veil off, and have it happen by the time Golbez casts his first spell, and the first spell is strong enough to pretty much kill anybody. Here, you won't get held, so you're able to just kind of sit in the menu for whoever's still alive, and be able to cast that Star Veil as soon as the dragon disappears. Or if Tell is fast enough, can get a wall off as well.
Yep, that is very true. And those characters are veiled up. We got a Bacchus Wine going out on that edge.
Then try and start getting some of these party members up. Maybe get some experience for them.
Yep, he doesn't really need a whole lot more, but he definitely won't say no to it. Throw out some heal potions just so that he has real characters and not piggies on the side.
Oof. Quad 9s on that Cecil with that lit 3.
Yeah, the magic here does not mess around. I'm not sure if he just never cast use a Star Veil, or if that was a wall cast from Tello, but if Tello's got a Curse Ring on, walls do not last long cast by Tello with a Curse Ring on.
And Infinius gets his pass. And now has to walk out of this part of the lunar subterranean because you can't use exit or warp out of this part.
Yep, just gotta use your little piggy feet. But now you can exit. And Phoenix takes a good walk around that crystal, uses it to summon himself back to Earth, pass in hand, gonna be headed to Troya. And we do have a couple other finishers. Bad Karma has finished in 9th place at the time of 2:23:27, and Plumeria Knight has finished in 11th place at the time of 2:23:41. So a couple of very tight finishes there.
As I believe Neobari said, just finishing this seed is an accomplishment because this has been one rude seed.
Absolutely. And Infinius knows full well that you get a nice full heal for starting the Zeromus fight, so there's no reason to use a cabin or anything. Just hand off your pass and go. You'll be transformed from nice little hemp stakes into full character status.
Pork does sound good right now.
I could go with a carnitas burrito for sure.
Pork and hummus sounds even better.
And we do have an 11th place finisher, Frostbite 3030 with a time of 2:25:12. I bet a lot of people did what Infinius did and pretty much faded that Golbez, did not want to fight it, and because as soon as you fade that spot, you don't want to go back, because as Rex said in his interview, it's such a long walk, it's so far away, that if you don't do it the first time, it's going to be your last check.
Exactly. And I fully believe that the people that did come in the higher ranks of this seed started from bottom to top after doing their White Spear Altar.
Oh yeah, the drive of the White Spear Altar being a place you knew you had to go would mean that you want to go there first, just in case it has any of your other objectives also. So it would be very shocking to me if anyone did that, like did the White Spear Altar and then went to top down. Like you kind of want to just stay there once you're down there. And as we get some Bacchus Wine going on Infinius' side, we do have a 12th place finisher, PK4787, with a time of 2:26:17.
GG, PK. Chucking the spoon.
And Cecil roughly shrugged on that counter. It only takes about half his health. We do have a 13th place finisher, Ground Flyer, with a time of 2:26.46.
It seems like people are starting to get in now that they realize that Golbez is the bottom of the tree.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much seed. So at a certain point, you just kind of finish it all, and everyone who did not make the right calls of what to skip eventually catches up with the people who did make those calls. Yeah, exactly, Scala. Or either the choice of going to the Giant without getting all the other character gating key items, or finding that pass like you were talking about, Kyrie. Either of them are kind of awkward things to decide to do. So if you do one of them, you got a pretty good leg up on everybody else.
Or falling down some of these other rabbit holes that happen.
But Cecil's swinging away for 4,000 or 5,000 to swing. Kane's even helping out with almost 4,000, which is kind of rare for him to get that high. Infinius has got some serious levels and some serious firepower going here.
We'll probably, maybe, finish the fight faster than Rex did.
He should largely have a safer time, even though his only white mage is Tella. Like, just the sheer power and sheer experience on his side from all the levels he got from the grind and doing the Giant. And pretty much full clearing the seed, and he kept most of that experience and didn't reset out of much of it. Definitely means he's gonna make a mushy pace of this on this.
And everyone but Tella can pretty much survive a decent big bang as well. The levels they have. And there's the flash.
And that is Infinius done with an official time of 2:29.07. GG's, Infinius.
But I had muted those. Sorry. I muted it for an hour and then the run went for another hour.
We'll see if we can get Infinius in here for an interview. Well, Kairu, how is that first time in commentary booth? How did you feel about it?
A lot less nervous than I did when I first started. I got into
Very
my
good.
groove a bit, even if I was a bit quiet at times.
I mean, sometimes we've seen stuff from the runners. We've seen both of them do a check, and there's not a whole lot to talk about. So I think it's all good, and I'm glad you had fun. I know I had a lot of fun doing this. And speaking of having fun, GG's to Infinius. I hope you had fun with this.
I mean, it was fun up until the point where I gambled that Golbez didn't have anything, and I was completely wrong.
Yeah, Rex had gotten a lucky 50-50 on that pretty early, so we here in the booth knew that he had the pass for quite a while. And so when you faded it, we were like, oh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, like, honestly, it's like, to be fair, I think that kind of made up for the gamble on Giant.
You did find Sid and defeat the Fabul Gauntlet first.
Yeah. I figured that. Like, I did figure that. Like, at the point where I got the Sid, I thought I was okay. So basically, that dwarf castle was a train wreck. Oh my god, that was awful. But
Yeah.
like, I feel like I think the poison X. I must have gotten really unlucky on on attempt 2 because I think it rolled like 200 twice on the jump, and I think if that rolled actually average, I think I get through that in the second try. But having said that, though, I don't think I gambled giant if I actually didn't have as much of a struggle as I did. So I don't know. It kind of evens out there, I guess. But yeah, gambling on Golbez not being required. I don't know. Given how much left the seat I had open to me, to me it made sense. But yeah, it just didn't pay off. These things happen.
Yeah, it's a totally reasonable gamble. And so you said going to the giant when you did was a result of the difficulties you had in dwarf.
Yeah. I would like. I was thinking about. I was like, okay, what can I do to make up time? Because this is a huge race. No, kind of being restrained. Let's make a spicy gamble. Let's do giant. So obviously, I do a whole bunch of setup to do that. Like get sirens from Tau, steal Bacchus wines from the Mad Ogre chest. Lucky I got the first chest, by the way, or second chest, I think. But yeah, do that, and then I can just plow through Moon. It's just unfortunately that didn't pay off.
Yeah, unfortunately that was a moon that was difficult to plow through with that D-Mist there and Golbez. Even the Wyvern there is a little bit hard to plow through quite so well.
Oh, I didn't mind Wyvern too much because I didn't end up doing. That was the other point I felt behind. I felt because I messed up on the Baron Inn fight because I think I took a wipe there, trying to lifelock and realizing. Oh wait, I could probably do this with Edward with a Elven bow and a ninja hat. That probably maybe could survive a punch and also do a whole bunch of damage to Asura. So lost a bit of time there, but I didn't think that was too bad. No, but yeah, I'm still really annoyed about that Dwarf Castle fight.
Yeah, no, that was a really good adjustment with that fight. You noticed that Edward was doing some pretty decent damage, and then no one else was really keeping up with him. So just letting him do all the work was a nice adjustment, I thought.
Oh to be fair, I had to all right, let's check the vanilla D-Mist spot first, in case there's an old portal there or D-Mist. And then that was when it occurred to me that wait, I could do it this way, and then that's hence the adjustment. So yeah, I don't know. I can't complain. Like I could tell from the race that a whole bunch of people struggled. So finishing it when I basically essentially 17 out of 17, and also 28 bosses out of 20 or something like that.
Yeah, you pretty much checked everything. Like you didn't see the hook route at all, but there wasn't a need to at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you saw everything. You did a couple of long moon dives. Like having to walk to the bottom twice is really obnoxious. So yeah. Look,
I'm not sad about my finish. It's just wish my gamble paid off. That's all.
Yeah, Kyrie, do you have any other questions for Infinius tonight?
Nope. Infinius, you did play well. I was genuinely surprised at some of the strats and how well you pulled them off.
Oh, I did like my Baigan fight where I knew that the HP item would trigger the reflect, whereas everything else would. So I did feel smart. That was a point where I felt smart. So but thank you. Thank you for restreaming, Oscar. That was a seed. Yeah. Thank you, Zabura, for tracking, and thank you, Ansel and Kyrie, for making me sound smarter than I actually am.
Well, thank you for letting us restream you. It was a lot of fun watching you play, Phineas, and you enjoy the rest of your Sunday since it is Sunday afternoon for you.
Yeah, it is. Time for lunch. I have no idea what I'm having.
Hummus.
No. Just no. Sorry. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Have a nice night.
And that was Infinius. And so we've pretty much come to the end of this broadcast. Kyra, do you have any other thoughts on the seed or anything else you'd like to talk about?
Helping me through my first commentary of a race, and I hope I get to join someone on commentary again. It was
I'm
a
sure you
great
will.
transition from tracking.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And of course, thank you, Zaru, for doing all the clicking of the buttons, and Asuka for giving us all the pretty pictures and rolling that wonderful seed. And thank you to Zoe for coming up with this concept. It's been a lot of fun watching these first two races. Hopefully they'll get in on one of these at some point. I just kind of had other stuff come up once, and then I wanted to be here in the booth tonight. And thank you all for just hanging out with us today, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And I believe we are going to be rating Leggy Starscream, doing some Final Fantasy 1 practice for the Fastest Furs Marathon that'll be coming up soon. So go say hi to Leggy. Leggy is very awesome. And again, thanks. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a night.